my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll, both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. Can we try awaken my soul? Awaken my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll, both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go.
On this Shabbat of Moses shattering that first set of tablets, seeing Israel's idolatry, responding with rage or maybe even fear, the question remains, what happened to the broken pieces? There's a Talmudic tradition that when Moses broke the original set, after coming down with the second set of tablets, the fragments were still there. So he and Aaron and anybody who wanted to help collected all the fragments, the shattered fragments, whereupon Moses took them, the pile, and placed them, of all places, in the ark alongside the hole. The elders asked, why would you put them there? And Moses said, the broken will help us remember what it means to be whole. Every person carries broken pieces. Rather than throw them out or leave them behind, we keep them close. For as we journey, we come to understand there is no wholeness so perfect and complete that it doesn't have a bit of brokenness alongside.
Awaken my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll, both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. I come and I go. I come and I go.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Am I on now? I'm on now, sure. That Awaken, remember, was written by Cantor Ellen Dreskin, and we used it this past Holy Days as sort of a thematic piece, but we wanted to bring it back because after a week that can be burdensome, tiring, you hear, so rather than fall asleep, we want you to wake up, at least spiritually speaking. Be attuned to all the gifts that you have, to all the connections that we share, and to celebrate this awesome moment. And as always, you'll notice, by the way, that Cantor isn't here. She's a little under the weather. We think she'll be here tomorrow. That's the prediction. We hope. But we have backup, don't worry. And it's not me. We always start with light. If the Fiftel women can come on up and kindle light.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We rise for Kiddush, page 123, as we add some sweetness to our Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kosho be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu, zicharon lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tefila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'siyat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'vratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashamayim. Good vintage, good vintage. Our service of Kabbalat Shabbat begins on page 130. Lechune Ranana, let us sing out and rejoice.
Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekama fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, b'yismira naria lo. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana l'Adonai.
Turning ahead to 138 for Lachadodi, we invite in the presence of Shabbat. We imagine joining us like a bride at the wedding banquet. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And it's our custom that when we reach that final verse, we'll rise to face the door. And finally, afterwards, once we've greeted Shabbat, we take a few minutes to greet one another. Page 138.
Yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat halah, yalalai p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat lekavela, yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat halah, yalalai p'nei Shabbat.
bechor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el ha'yachad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'letzilah Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof Shabbat Techila, Yai Lai Lai, Yala La La Lai Lachadodi, Yai Lai Likrat Kala, Yala La La Lai Penei Shabbat, Penei Shabbat Nekavelas, Hitoreri.
not to break up the party. But we have a lot in store tonight. We find our places remaining standing, joining our voices together for Baruch Hu, our call to worship, page 146.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai.
Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it from? Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We turn to page 158 for our people's Song of Freedom. Turn to page 166 as we reach the heart of our service, the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora Bekonei hakol, vezocher chastei avot ve'imahot, umevi geula livnei b'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magin. Baruch atah Adonai, magin Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach החיות הכל. Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom v'luchatzela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Soar Israel, Rock of Israel, you who transcend all nations, all peoples, the one who has saved us and preserved us in life and will continue to redeem us from our most painful struggles. Please deliver the captive from grave danger and fear. Create safety and security for all who are vulnerable. Strengthen the soldiers summoned to protect. Let their fight be against our true foe. Sow courage and humility in those who lead. Enlighten them in this confounding conflict. Be a loving shelter of peace to all those people who seek it. Protect the innocent. Provide them shelter through the storm. Shalom Rav al Yisrael. Let peace, wholeness, and hope hold us up. Inspire us to be the Israel that brings goodness, blessing, grace, courage, and compassion to all the world. Amen. We now take a few moments to pray silently.
Say shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Huya say shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Huya say shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Just as Yasher Koach. Rabbi Strickman shared at the start of our service, we are reminded with those two sets of tablets that we can find holiness even in brokenness. We, in this moment, think of those in our lives who may be feeling a little broken right now, who are in need of healing, of strength, and we lift our voices together, rising as one community, holding on to one another and joining in the words of our healing prayer, the middle of page 371. This Shabbat, our Larchmont Temple family in particular prays for the healing of Jerry Gallner, Nancy Hanley, Pat Ryan, Marlo Wiggins, Stanley Tereski, Paul Wiggins, Dick Stone, Enid Elton, Andy Rosenthal, Dan Zimmerman, Joseph Spinelli, Jody Kahn, Samuel Phillip, Ariel Eden, Ian Spear, Joanne Tobin, Abby Zatoun, Barry Fenner, Gabriel Morse, Jeffrey Amder, Kristen Harris, Irv Cohen, June Foreman, Millie Marmer, Susan Frankel, Jack Blumenfrucht, Kira Rutman, Frank Fozzolari, Marion Froelich, Jackie Pearsall, Jill Rhodes, Joel Brill, Michael Murphy, Isabel Fenster, Paul Millman, Steve Gutman, Rabbi Sarah Friedson, and Nora Guzinski. If you're thinking of someone who is in need of healing, body or mind or spirit, as my eyes make their way around the room, if you're comfortable, we invite you to add their name to our prayers.
Our special presentation, our special scholar is going to talk after services, but I have a very special blessing to share now. Whoever that guy was that sang that beautiful Oseh Shalom, can you come up with your wife? I'm going to open the ark a little bit. I'm not going to open it all the way. You can remain seated for the moment. Come step right in here. All right. You can come close. You can come close. Let me hold you. Mi sheberach avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu sarav karachav leah. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers before us bring blessing upon one whose commitment and connection to Larchmont Temple has brought immeasurable blessing to us as she celebrates a milestone birthday, 80 minus 10. You do the math. As you, Adrian, have helped make Larchmont Temple a place where Torah comes to life, for our children for sure, in the old days leading our school board with such vision. As you've always embraced the path to lifelong learning yourself, so may you always know that your commitment helps bring Torah to life in this place. And as you have embraced this place and made it your temple home, helping to make it so for others as well, a regular at Shabbat, your seat's right over there in perpetual reserve, a leader in our ritual committee, inspiring us to innovate, so may you know your spiritual vision helps everyone to see the sacred a bit more clearly. And having raised your family here along with that guy, Mark and Rachel now partnered a new generation fast unfolding, bringing you door-to-door joy. So may you and Andy, proud grandparents, continue to know the nachas of generations nourished with Jewish values and love. Adrian, as you have been a model, together with Andy, of living covenant with dedication unwavering, our ultimate blessing remains with health and wholeness a given, with your life partner, Andy, ever by your side. May we come together, Adrian, in celebration of you and with you, of all you are and all you do, for years upon decades yet to come. And let us all say,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adrian. Happy birthday to you.
thank you. We have to finish the service. I don't know where you guys are going. What's going on? We're on Facebook. Oh yeah. How soon we forget.
We're
You know
doing
what I'm
things
saying?
out of order. I'm playing a different part tonight. Rabbi. Where are we
Well,
anyway?
we have to call the Downs
Yes.
up because you guys. I closed the ark so you guys could open it. So Downs, come on, you
Andrew
guys,
Pope.
you're on deck.
You're on deck.
B'nai
for the
Mitzvah on deck. Come on up. We rise for Aleinu, page 586.
Aleinu l'shaveach l'adon hakol, l'teichu l'litzeh breshit, shelo asanik b'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Turning to page 598, making ready for Kaddish. I was looking the other day I was preparing, probably the other week, it was last week for a funeral, and I ended up reading the last chapter of Rabbi Harold Kushner's book on the 23rd Psalm. The very last verse, or the very last part of the book and the last chapter on the last verse gives us amazing wisdom. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. God says to us in our bereavement, as we languish in the valley of the shadows, you've lost someone you love, but you found me. You have not the God of contrived happy endings, but the God who said to Abraham, to Moses, to saints and strivers in every generation, fear not, for I will be with you. I will be with you in the sunshine and in the shadow. My house is your home. When we are frightened because the world is a scary place, God is somehow with us. When we are terrified at the prospect of losing control, having lost someone we love, God is at our side. When illness, bereavement, and the losses that come cast a shadow on our lives, God is there to fill the empty space, to remind us that shadows are cast only because the sun is shining somewhere, leading us through that valley and into the light. We remember those who cast a long shadow, whose light and love still shine. Especially calling to mind this Shabbat, the Yortzites observed in our congregational family of Victor Dorman, Barnett Wald, Elliot Thal, Estelle Levy-Miller, S. Miller Weissman, Yitzhak Haber, Solomon Feldman, Saul Immerman, Shirley Kalina, Arthur Gross, Gertrude Bennett, Lillian Cooper-Smith, Thelma Flukiger, Sidney Zilberberg, Anthony Valor, Herbert Goody, Doris Dar Mate, Paul Roberts, Lynn P. Kramer, Jack Langbart, Sarah Cohen, Harold Suchman, Nathan Novak, Sadie Steinberg, Chaim Nachmanson, Nathan Softness, Louise Weiner, Maria Mendez Carlos, Carol J. Schaefer, Abe Mandel, Isaac Mallister, Daniel Weininger, Jacob Maslow, Rita Slater, Lena Levine, Iris Rogers, Nina Soboleski, Harold Goldman, Minerva Gerstein, Miles Godin, Edward Eininger, Matthew Rosenberg, Lillian Keys, Bill Davidowitz, Morton W. Gilbert, and Molly Rutcove. Would anyone here add a name in sacred remembrance? To those names, we link 8 who in the past 30 days, Shloshim, have been laid to their eternal rest. Catherine Tansey, wife of Philip, mother of Ben and Charlotte, Nick and Zoe, Alex and Sam, daughter of Shirley, sister of Justine Tafe, our dear member. Lori Altschuler, wife of Stanley, mother of Jessica Borstein, Allison Davis, daughter of Murray Goldberg, sister of Erica and Alyssa, grandmother of 5. Rex Rayfeld, husband of Ellen O'Brien, father of Dr. Andrew Rayfeld, and Edward Rayfeld, grandfather of 4. Louis Nidus, husband of Miriam, father of Daniel and Benjamin, grandfather of 3. Alan T. Borbridge, husband of Norma, father of Gloria Cashel and Bonnie, brother of 4, grandfather of 4. Inga Friedenbach, mother of Evelyn Sadler, along with Mickey, grandmother of 4, predeceased by her husband, Lucian. John Billett, brother of Deborah. Donald Longvin, uncle of Bambi Fisher. And to those names, we link 2 members of the Shachar Pellets unit, the soldier who spoke to us here a few weeks ago, who were killed in Gaza, Gabriel Shani and Yuval Nir. The memories of all of them are with us. Their love and light still shine. We share in words of Kaddish. Yitz Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael kala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach le'olam u'lomei maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Kudisha Barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush birchata v'nechamata dam hiran me'alma v'yimdu amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimdu amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimdu amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be our blessing. Amen. We do it after. It's going to be close this up here. Put this guy. It was over 40 years ago when we were both wandering through life's wilderness as first-year rabbinic students in Jerusalem that I met Danny Schiff. There was something decidedly different about Danny. Yes, his Australian accent, but even more, his insightful, sometimes incisive, critical mind. It made him, in essence, the E.F. Hutton of our class. Even back then, when Danny spoke, the 54 of us listened. What's amazing is all these years later, we're still listening. Author of the recent Judaism in a Digital Age, deep thinking and disturbing, reflecting on our path as Reformed Jews to the present day, and our purpose for tomorrow in confronting the challenges that the digital age brings. Our teacher compels us to question, how will all the challenges change who we are and why we're here? Hold on to your hats, folks. With deep gratitude for his presence, it is a joy to welcome the Gefsky Community Scholar at the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh, who also lives in Jerusalem, but happens to be here now, our LT Spring Scholar, my friend and classmate, transformational teacher this Shabbat, Rabbi Danny Schiff.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. What a great joy it is for me to be here at Larchmont Temple this evening. And I know that every visiting scholar or person who comes to occupy the pulpit starts out that way. And they don't necessarily realize exactly where they are. But I am particularly conscious of where I am precisely because I know that this is the congregation led by my friend, my colleague, as you heard, through 4 decades, Rabbi Jeff Serkman. And the words that he spoke about me are probably less deserved than the following statement that I want to make about him. He, as you well know, is a mensch of the first order. But more than that, he is probably the most beloved congregational rabbi in these United States and beyond, which is why Larchmont Temple has been so wise as to hang on to him and never share him with anybody else throughout all these years. So I know exactly where I am. And it's a great delight to be with other colleagues, many other colleagues here in the room, and to spend this Shabbat in the presence of a congregation that I know is very deeply committed to serious Judaism and to serious learning. When we first started talking, your rabbi and I, about the possibility of me coming to visit Larchmont, it was a year ago. It was way before October the 7th. We could never have known, as we were making our plans, what exactly would happen in the interim. And I want to therefore acknowledge, because I spend half my year in Israel and half my year in the United States, I want to acknowledge exactly the moment that we are going through as a people. It's day 147. 147 days since October the 7th. Nothing much feels right in Jewish life. There is, as you know, so much deep pain. We think of the soldiers, Israeli soldiers, as we speak, deployed on the field of battle. We think of those who lost their lives on October the 7th, of the terrible attacks, of the injuries. We think of the deep trauma that continues to haunt Israeli society in a palpable way. And we think at every hour of those 132 hostages still held in the tunnels of Gaza. Every single day, a war crime for every single one that is held, and we pray fervently that they will be restored one day very soon to their homes and to their families. And it's true that it doesn't just revolve around Israel. That what we experienced on October the 7th gave rise to, I hardly need tell you, this outbreak, this eruption of anti-Semitism around the world that is truly unprecedented in our lifetimes. There is a great deal of understandable angst at this hour, in these weeks, during this year, for the Jewish people. So tonight I want to bring a message of hope. A message of hope because I believe fervently in what I'm about to say, and a message of hope because that is the Jewish way. Od lo avda tikvatenu. We have not lost, and we will not lose our hope. So let me take you backwards in history. Back 50 years to 1973. The Yom Kippur War. And those in the room old enough to remember the Yom Kippur War know that the Yom Kippur War, which lasted only 19 days, was a terribly problematic time for Israel and for the Jewish people as well. Yom Kippur War was a surprise, just like October the 7th was a surprise. It caught Israel on the back foot. Israel ultimately turned the tide, but not before 2,500 Israeli soldiers lost their lives. 300 were taken into captivity for a time, and many were injured. And Israel came out of the 1973 war, and the Jewish people collectively, feeling like the reality of what had happened, what had transpired in that war, was desperately concerning vis-a-vis what it meant for the ongoing security and vitality of the state of Israel. And if you had said, if you had told somebody right after the Yom Kippur War, you know, those Egyptians, those Jordanians who want to drive you into the sea, who want to ensure that there is no more Israel, they will one day in the not too distant future make peace with you. If you told anybody that in the Jewish world in 1973, they would have said you're crazy. We came out of that war 100% convinced that the agenda of the surrounding Arab states to eradicate the state of Israel was a firm agenda from which they would never deviate. And we were wrong. We were wrong. What happened after 1973? The government of Israel changed. And after the government of Israel changed, Sadat came to Jerusalem. Israel gave back the Sinai to Egypt. And peace was established between Israel and Egypt in 1979. And everybody said, it won't last. And everybody said, they don't mean it. And guess what? It lasted, and they meant it. And today, it's not the warmest peace in the world. It doesn't need to be. But we have commercial relationships. And after Egypt came Jordan, and after Jordan came Bahrain, and the UAE, and Morocco. And ever since October the 7th, I've been wondering, will any of them break off relations with Israel because of what's been going on in Gaza? So Larchmont Temple was good enough to send a driver to the airport to pick me up this morning. The driver was from Morocco. So I asked him, because I have a little chutzpah as an Israeli, I asked him, what do you think about what's going on in Gaza? So he said to me, I think the Palestinians have gone a little too far. And I said to him, as a Moroccan, why is it that Morocco still maintains its relationship with the state of Israel, given what is going on? To which he said, it's in our interests. Israel has technology. Israel has security know-how. Israel is a strong country. We're not giving up on those relationships. How extraordinary. In 1973, we had no idea how that earthquake of the Yom Kippur War would ultimately open the door to a new reality. And as we know, Saudi Arabia hasn't declared, as a result of October the 7th, that peace with the Saudis is off the table. Indonesia is still discussing the possibility of normalization. Here's what I want you to consider. It's very hard to work out the significance of a particular historic moment while you are going through it. Perspective often makes a turning point look very different than what you think it is at the time. Moses comes down from that mountain. Moses comes down from that mountain and he smashes the tablets. What could be more shattering, literally? This enormous turning point in Jewish history. The golden calf, he shatters the tablets. You're standing there at the bottom of the mountain as a Jew. What are you thinking about the Jewish future? You're thinking it's all over. That's it. God gave us the 10 Commandments. Moses smashed them because we behaved badly. We're done. We're finished. But what happens in this week's Parsha? God forgives. The mood changes. A second set of tablets is given. So here's the important idea to remember. When all seems broken, when everything seems like it's completely at a nadir, at its lowest point, a new set of tablets lies just ahead if we are committed to addressing the great challenges that lie before us. That's what Jewish history teaches us. When things seem broken, there's a new set of tablets that lie ahead, if we will only change our ways, adopt a new set of practices to address the challenges that lie before us. And it's using that template, using that idea, that I want to say a few words about the future of Judaism in North America and around the world, and particularly what that means for Reformed Conservative Judaism. Because Rabbi Serkman asked me to say tonight what Judaism is going to look like in 2055. That's 31 years from now. I got the long-term assignment. What is Judaism going to look like in 2055? So here's the reality, and it's, forgive me, very impolite to come into a congregation that is a Reform congregation and to say that the Reform movement is having all sorts of troubles and difficulties, because that's not really the way a guest should behave. But you'll forgive me because I'm part of this. I grew up in this. I belong to it. I feel deeply the emotions that go along with what I'm about to say. But here is the reality. Reform and conservative Judaism, as we have known them in our lifetimes, are going away. They're disappearing. They're dying. I know that's hard to feel, hard to viscerally accept when you look around at all this vitality. But let's understand this from a global perspective. If you go back to 1990 and you look at the population study of the North American community, they asked, do you identify as a Reform or Conservative Jew? In 1990, 73% of American Jews said they identify as Reform or Conservative. By 2020, that number had fallen dramatically to 54%. From 73% to 54% in 2020. And now you might say, well, that's not so big. It's only a 20% drop in 30 years. First of all, if you own a business and you have a 20% drop in 30 years, you're certainly going to be pretty worried about that. But then you're going to ask the question of, and what about young people? So in 2020, if you look at the statistics for 18 to 29-year-olds, ask them, do they identify as Reform or Conservative? Only 37% said they identify as Reform or Conservative. Look around the country. See what is happening. Rabbinic school classes are shrinking. Rabbinic schools are closing. Congregations are merging. The trajectory is not one that can lead to optimism about the future. And the question is, why is this happening? Why are we where we are today, and what does it mean about 2055? So that's a long story. That's why I wrote a book. But let me say a few words about why we are where we are and what it means about 2055. We are where we are today for one reason. Modernity, as in that era that arrived in 1789, modernity came to an end somewhere around 1990, when the internet and the way of interacting transformed dramatically into what we call the digital age. Somewhere around 35 years ago, the digital age started. And the digital age is entirely discontinuous with everything that went before it. Everything in our lives, those of us who are old enough to remember back prior to 1990, everything in our lives is different today because of the vast array of technologies that now are part and parcel of every single thing we do. And here I want to make the point very emphatically that it's not just about when you interface with a particular piece of technology. It has become the way in which our relationships work, the way in which our financial system works, the way in which our families are built, the way in which the media runs, the news is delivered. Everything has changed. Judaism has not yet come up with an appropriate response to the digital age. And if you doubt that, let me illustrate it with just a few examples. Social media. Social media has been a remarkably powerful tool for transformation over the 19 years it's been in existence. And you know that the transformation brought about by social media has resulted in the type of problematic threats to democracy, the questioning about truth, the dissemination of conspiracy theories, the raised rates of depression and even suicide among young people and older, and a host of other impacts. This is not my evaluation. This is the evaluation of a group of software engineers who worked on it and who have now become trenchant critics of it. To be sure, let me be clear, social media has some tremendous upsides as well. But if we put everything in the balance and we ask the question, upsides versus downsides, is it better that we have social media, or if we'd known the implications before it came along, would we have said yes? The answer, I think, is it's highly problematic. Highly problematic. And now here's the big question. What exactly does Reform Judaism have to say about social media? What's our position on social media? To which the answer is, we don't have one. Nobody has one. You ask Reform rabbis or Reform headquarters, what's your position on social media? They'll tell you all the places you can find them on social media. I didn't ask that. What I asked was, given that this is a massive transformation that impacts human life on a day-to-day basis, what do we have to say? Really? The answer is nothing? 19 years later, the answer is nothing? We never convened massive conferences to come up with an ethical response? We talk about kashrut, suitable eating for a Jew. We talk about appropriate sexual relations for a Jew, but we have no code of conduct as to how a Jew is supposed to conduct him or herself on social media. Shouldn't you be able to distinguish a Jew on social media because they had different halachic requirements as to how they're going to behave on social media? None of that. That's just one thing. Privacy. Evaporating. Going away. Good for the Jews, bad for the Jews, good for humanity, bad for humanity. Do we have anything to say about it? Nothing. Today in America, 48% of households are single-person households. Not because people are getting divorced or widowed, but because people are choosing to live without getting married. That number was 28% prior to the digital revolution. Do we have anything to say about that? Do we have a position on that? So here's the thing. The Reform and Conservative movements were started with a job to help Jews adapt to the societies of which they were a part, and to help Judaism adopt the various different ideas that were out there in society. We're really good at adapting to the world around about us. We're really good at doing that as Reformed Conservative Jews. And we're really good at adopting whatever new thing the society gives us and making it part of our Jewish life. But what happens if the job of the digital age is not to adapt and not to adopt, but to do what Jews have historically always done, which is to critique, to question, to wonder, is this the best that civilization can deliver? In 2055, we're going to be confronted with questions that are much harder than the ones I just presented, and those are just the tip of the iceberg. In 2055, we will be wondering about whether or not healthy human beings should replace their body parts with technologically advanced arms and eyes, enhance our memories. We're going to be wondering about whether the radical extension of life that will probably be available in several decades so that people will be able to live beyond 130 and 140 is a good idea or a bad idea. Should you be married to the same person for 80 to 90 years, 100 to 120 years? Why do people always laugh at that? To 100 to 120 years. In 2055, we're going to be wondering if AI is really advanced at that point, and a lot of people don't have jobs, which is probably quite likely, what's a human life supposed to mean? If any group in the world has some background at answering that question, the question of, if you got nothing else to do in life, what are you supposed to be spending your time doing? It better be the Jewish people. So here's my message. We look forward. We look forward to the future. And in 2055, it seems plain to me that Reform and Conservative Judaism, as we have known them, will no longer be adequate responses to the great challenging times in which we live. And we will have to decide whether we are up to the challenge of creating something new that will ultimately deal with the great questions of this new digital age beyond the life of Reform and Conservative Judaism. When all seems broken, a new set of tablets lies ahead of us. If we are committed to addressing the great challenges that lie before us, let's hope we're up to that task. Amen.
Aren't you disturbed? I mean, oh my God. This is what he did 40 years ago. Now it's even better. First of all, the book, we do have copies of the book, which we'll have tomorrow at Chevra, and we'll have it Sunday morning at our Congregational Brotherhood breakfast. And Rabbi Schiff has some wonderful responses to the challenge. He laid it out even more extensively in the book in the first few chapters about how Reform and Conservative Judaism, non-Orthodox Judaism, has done lots of wonderful things, and perhaps in some ways has to transform, knowing it's run its course and as far as it could go. And I love that Rabbi Schiff began with hope and ended with the challenge, because the hope doesn't lie in some far-off dream. The hope lies with us. Chevra Torah tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Don't miss it. But don't leave yet. Some announcements and a closing song.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Yvette Gurevich, and I bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Welcome to everyone in the sanctuary and those joining via live stream online. Happy birthday, friend. I have to admit how old I am now. Thank you, Rabbi Zerkman and Rabbi Frankel and Cantor Orangel. We hope you feel better. And Lexi, thank you for filling the sanctuary with just sacred sound. Thank you. Thank you especially to our scholar in residence, Rabbi Danny Schiff, for pulling back the veil of the future and giving us a glimpse of what we may or may not be ready to see. If you've been provoked to ask questions about the future, join Rabbi Zerkman and Rabbi Schiff tomorrow at Chevra. Or if you feel the need to learn more about Judaism in the digital age, join us for Havdalah's Discovery Conversation Saturday. That's not happening. Don't join us. But Sunday morning brotherhood. All right. Okay. 2 bagels. Okay. Thank you. Welcome, Rabbi Schiff. Few announcements. The big news, the celebration, Maddie and Sophie, Mazel Tov, as they lead us tomorrow in worship and learning. Thank you both for your dedication in preparing. I saw the smiles on your family's face. It was beautiful. And we're very grateful to both of you for becoming the newest link in the unbroken chain of your family's heritage. Thank you. Both of your drashes are posted on the temple website. They are awesome. Maddie, you taught us about the debate between God and Moses, right? As your sister Sophie helped us to try to understand what the people of Israel were going through. I got that right? Good. Great teaching. Thank you, ladies. And we welcome you both as the newest adult members of our sacred community. Mazel tov to the generations of your family. The informally led minyan will meet tomorrow at 10:30 in the library. If you're remembering a loved one for Kaddish or want to say a Mishabera, come join the minyanaires.
Being led by our benediction.
Shira. Look at, this is all this news. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. We have the women's retreat next weekend, and I hear we're going pink for the Purim spiel. As I am the only one standing between us and dinner in the garden room, please check the website for additional information. We continue to offer something for everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We didn't update your cue cards. I'm sorry.
Shabbat Shalom.
We rise for a closing song, 2 simple words in a little bit of harmony. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat